Hey everyone, Alexander here, talking shop with Outlier Firefighters. This is bonus episode number 2, and I'm going to talk about my experience with Illinois Fire Service Institute's RIT Under Fire program. Wow, first off, I mean, you're going to pretty much catch me with a loss of words for a lot of it, but it was an experience to say the least, and I truly believe that every firefighter should go through it. I think every firefighter should take this class. I know that it's an Illinois class, and if you're not in Illinois, that could be, difficult to get to. However, every firefighter should take this class. You're not going to get the live fire. You're not going to get real people and having to fix the problem in real time with RIT. There's no replication for it. So for those of you that don't know what RIT Under Fire is, I guess it's more formally known as a responder intervention team rescue technician, right? So responder intervention team, RIT, right? Rescue technician, but it's known as RIT Under Fire pretty much to everyone else. And it's a 50-hour class, which that's being generous as well, because it's more than 50 hours for sure. And I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing. It's every bit of what it needs to be. And that's the way it goes, is you're there until you're done, which was pretty cool. So basically it was an entire week. I spent the week in Champaign by myself and met some really awesome people. I got to work with the same company for the whole week, and they broke us up into groups. There were about maybe 30 or 40 people in the class total. They broke us up into groups, and then those groups got split into 2 RIT companies. So I was with the same 3 other people for the entire week, operating in a RIT crew for every scenario, which was great. We got to develop a rapport. If you're a company officer and you take this class, or you want to be a company officer or on a list or whatever, you will never get an opportunity to lead in some really challenging scenarios like this. Like, if you're thinking about becoming a company officer, or you're in the process of doing it, or you are one, go take this class for that reason. The scenarios that you have to work through and get your crew together and fix it, I don't know if they can replicate that level of do or die stress for a lot of other things. I'm sure, with engine ops and company officer boot camp and stuff like that. Yeah, it's all great. I'm definitely not taking anything away from any other class, but I will say my company officer for the whole week, he works at Deerfield, and he was fantastic. He did it the entire week. We were maybe going to rotate. We were like, no, he's on the list, and we had a great working relationship. All of us in the company did. So it was great to just leave him there. But yeah, everyone should take the class. So what was cool about this week, and before I get into like the nuts and bolts and the ins and outs, I'm just going to say right away, I'm not going to give you scenarios, because I think it takes away from it if you go. I think you need to be presented with the situations and fix them. I'll kind of tell you maybe some of the skills that you're going to learn and some of the situations, but the actual scenarios, I'm not going to tell you what they are. So I think it's important, if you go to this class, to kind of go into it blind. Also, if you got questions, I know there's a couple people live here in watching, so thanks, but throw them my way. I'm going to try to talk about the nutrition, the hydration aspect of it, the mental aspect of it, and then what IFSI is doing with this program. So it's existed for a while, and I'm sorry that I don't know how long, but it's been decades, I believe, that this program has existed. It's been vetted. the things that they teach you, they're tested there, and they'll tell you that the techniques that they teach you have actually saved firefighters' lives. Like, people will take this class and they've used those skills directly in a real life Mayday situation. And what better sales pitch is that? That it actually worked in the streets. So what they did different this year, we were the first class to guinea pig this, and honestly, without it, it would have been a different experience for sure. But with it, it really it made the class more real, I think. I don't have a frame of reference because I didn't take it without what they changed, but it's so for those of you who have taken it, maybe you are hearing about this. It's still probably it's just as hard as when you took it. There's just as many fires. They're hot, right? The instructors are top notch and they demand excellence out of you. But they added a RIT chief course, so we were fortunate enough to have 3 chiefs with us for every evolution. One would run incident command on the outside, and then the other 2 would become a RIT chief or they would become a rescue chief, and they would be inside with you. So they were able to take your directions and get you help and calm the chaos. And sorry, I don't know how else to phrase it, but I'm stealing that from Castro's. But it was great to have it in there for us because this was the first time they did it. Every single chief had gone through RIT under fire as a firefighter or lieutenant, but gone through the program, so they knew everything we were going through, and they knew the stress that it causes and how you can get a little amped up with things, and nobody ever took anything personal. There were no hurt feelings, and it was really cool. And all those chiefs were rock solid. They were great. It was awesome to have them. So if you are a chief and you're interested in something like that, they are offering it now more regularly. So they're calling it a RIT chief, basically, and it's a 50-hour course. The next time that they're going to do it is in February, so February 19th through the 23rd, so it's the full week. You're with the crew. They take you off, and actually you get to learn a lot from retired Commissioner Bob Hoff, and he does a lot with the command structure and teaches a lot directly to the chiefs. So if that's something interesting to you, then yeah. So it runs in conjunction with RIT Under Fire, and you're right there with us. You're right there with the firefighters. So what a great example that sets to your organization if you come in and you take that. Like what a great tone that sets. That you get it. You're right there with us. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can train on in the fire service, right? Like we all know, like throwing ladders and rescue and search and all those things. And they're extremely important. But RIT's the only thing that's directly for us when something goes bad, and it tests all of those fire skills anyway. Like there were scenarios where, not every person that goes down that you have to find has a pass device activated. Like you don't always get clear information, and so we had to do primary searches on some of them. So we had to throw ladders on a lot of them. We had to drag people, obviously. And we had to force doors. We had to do a lot of truck work. So if your skills aren't sharpened, then you'll find out real quick in that class for sure. So I'll jump in right away, I guess, talking about kind of my week. So I went down on the Sunday evening and stayed at a hotel, like I said, the whole week, and got a good night rest. And I'd been listening to some other podcasts. A couple guys that did Georgia Smoke Divers were on the Fit to Fight Fire podcast. And they talked about their nutrition, and they talked about hydration and those things for smoke divers, for Georgia Smoke Divers, which I tried to implement some of that stuff because I knew that it was going to be a grind for the week. So I ended up drinking cranberry juice every night before I went to sleep. to help with my muscle recovery and to help replace electrolytes and help keep my kidneys, functioning well. Uh, and it actually, I feel like it did help because I didn't feel off electrolyte wise. There was one day, and I'll explain it later, where my hydration was not up to what it needed to be. So, as much as you need to come to this with the right mindset, knowing that you're going to get the crap beat out of you basically for a week, knowing that it's going to be really challenging, knowing that it's going to be hot. So if you know all those things and you plan for it, then hydration should come right into that, and nutrition should come right into that. So I am not a nutritionist. I am not a personal trainer. I am none of those things. I'm a fireman. So I'm maybe in the same boat as you, where I'm just trying to figure those things out as an uneducated person. So what I end up doing every morning, I woke up and I had a 30 it should be 30 gram protein shake every morning. That was my breakfast. I kind of threw, depending, so my hotel had a continental breakfast, so I would maybe throw some eggs or something, but I went high protein for the morning. And every morning started off with liquid IV with water, and that was all I drank was water, or water with liquid IV and the cranberry juice. That was it the whole week. And it's really easy to want to drink a beer or get a soda or something like that for dinner, and I promise you, if you get outside of that box, yeah, you'll feel it, right? And maybe other people's bodies are different, and people can handle that. I wasn't really an athlete in school, so I didn't really get a lot of those fundamental skills, and then I didn't fight it. I didn't learn about exercise until I was probably 17 years old, and really all I learned about was powerlifting. So I really didn't know the athletic nutrition, but what I gathered was that. So I started every morning, like I said, with the protein shake and drinking water. I've done it for a while, and actually, ironically, I learned it at IFSI when I was an explorer. I went down there for fire college, and I remember they told us that if you're not peeing, you're not drinking enough water. And I've actually pretty much used that for the rest of my career with training, because when you're young, you can take that stuff for granted and you can make up for it. However, obviously, as we all get older, we learn that we have to actually make an effort to take care of our bodies, right? So I carry around a half-gallon water bottle at work, and I drink water all day at work. And if I go to a training, that thing comes with me as well, and I'm trying to drink as much water as I possibly can. So I guess on the topic of hydration, so I'll just kind of skip into it. So as the week progresses, it gets harder, obviously, right? They show you the basic skills, and I'll talk about a little bit of that in a minute, but show you the basic skills, but then day one, you're off. There's no ramp up period. They show you how to move people, and I think every student comes in kind of feeling yeah, all right, I know how to pick a guy up. Yeah, all right, I know how to drag someone. But then you quickly realize, the second half of the first day, it's all put to practical, and it's live fire right away. The first day, I burned my knee on the first day, and you realize oh shit, I didn't do those drags the way they taught me, and they let you know. They tell you we showed you how to do this. Why are you not doing it? And it takes a little bit of time to break that, and but once you figure it out, that's all you need. Really, they teach you everything you need. They teach you. You just have to pay attention and do it, right? And spend some time talking to your crew and practicing those things. And you're not going to get it all in the week. You're not going to be perfect, but you'll be significantly better if you listen to them. Sorry, I got a cough. So, with the hydration, Wednesday came around. Wednesday's a hard day. And they're all hard days, but Wednesday really beat me up, and I got cooked. I got absolutely roasted. Anybody that's been in, oh come on, sorry, my computer wants to restart. Not happening. So, like I said, all the days are hard, but Wednesday was brutal, right? It really beats the crap out of you, and just because at that point, like, you're still recovering, you're still like I said, every day is like an 11-hour day. So if you're not prepared for that, then and even if you try to prepare for it, it still probably doesn't matter. So Wednesday's tough, and I didn't drink enough water. Like, I drank the water before I went to sleep. I drank the water, in the morning, but then in between each evolution, I didn't drink water, and it caught up with me. Like, when you there's water jugs everywhere to refill, and they give you a water bottle, and that's great. That's nice to give you a water bottle, but have a bigger water bottle. And I literally, because I didn't drink enough water, I got absolutely cooked in their high-rise prop building, and absolutely got roasted. Could not recover. Couldn't get my body back, body temperature back down. My blood friggin' boiled, and my brain would not function. I didn't pass out or anything like that, but I came down the stairs to try to get a new bottle, and one of the RIT chiefs saw me, and I was kind of falling around, and he goes, "You okay?" And I'm a fireman, so we all ego, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he goes, "You sure you look drunk?" And I was like, "I'm fine." And I grab another bottle, sit down, try to control my breathing. Never cooled off the entire evolution. It was 2-bottle evolution, all of them are, and we ended up dragging the down firefighter, and I did not do a good job whatsoever. I mean, basically just beat the crap out of and it's a live person. Like I said, all the victims are live people, so I'm dragging them down the stairs, and I just beat the snot out of this person, and felt absolutely terrible about myself afterwards. Didn't say a word in the critique. I knew I messed up, and you hold yourself, I think, to a higher standard than anyone else, right? I really take a lot of pride in being good at what I should do, and I feel like I didn't do a good job, and I'm soaked, head to toe soaked, almost like I had been dunked into a pool, absolutely soaked from how much I sweat. And I realized I didn't drink enough water to compensate for that, to be prepared for that, and I totally got dehydrated and just lost it. And I remember we were talking in between evolutions, and you see the other crews, and everybody goes "Hey, how'd you do? Did you get him out? Whatever." And talking to the other crew, and I was like, "No, we didn't get him out. It was bad. I messed up, and it was just not good, and we didn't get him out." And to his credit, man, the chief that was with us, he was just he goes, "Hey, no, we did get him out." And in that moment, I was like, shit, I allowed myself to break. I allowed myself to become negative and break, and not push through and pick myself up and learn and move on to the next thing. And he kind of, in that moment, snapped me back to reality. I straight up embarrassed myself in front of him, because I just was a mess. My hydration was so bad. Even the evolution before that, I got gassed way quicker. So big lesson learned in mental toughness, and keeping the right mindset and a good attitude, and went home that night not feeling like I did a good job, but that moment really made me go, okay, I'm gonna fix this. I have control over this. I can change it. And dehydrated. I drank so much water. The following day, I had to have drank 4 or 5 gallons of water over the course of the day. Between every evolution, I drank a half gallon of water for sure. So I'm not good at math. Those of you that watch my show know that. But whatever, I drink a lot of water. And yeah, so it's unreal. To the point, here's a fun. and I don't know if anybody else going through Red Under Fire shares this story, but I drank so much water that I'm in an evolution, and I was off to the side while recovering, waiting for someone else to take care of something. Like, you'll learn, like, not everyone has to be active all the time. Like, you also need people who are recovering and waiting on deck, even if you're inside, to do something. So I'm sitting there and I had to pee. And before the evolution started, I had to pee. But I was like, well, whatever, I'm going to sweat. I probably won't have to pee. And it didn't go away. So the whole evolution, I'm thinking about how I got to piss. And I'm sitting there waiting, for them to package and drag the down firefighter. And I considered, like, literally just peeing my pants. Because I was like, I have nothing, like, I need to get rid of this out of my brain so I'm not just thinking about peeing. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. Whatever, I'm sweaty anyway. Like, I'm dirty and gross. Like, it doesn't matter. I ended up not doing it, but I came real close. And we finished the evolution, and I ran over. I peed in some gravel somewhere. And then drank my half-gallon of water and went right back to work. So, but yeah. So, wrapping hydration up, I guess. If you're considering taking this class, figure that out. Because it'll hit you over the head the first day. And if you're not prepared for it, like, your muscles might not be fatigued, right? Like, you might be okay for some things, but if you're not hydrated, doesn't matter. You got to be hydrated. You got to drink tons of water. So if you take anything away from this, drink some freaking water. The food, like I said, I did my breakfast, but then my lunch and dinner, like, dinner's a crapshoot because you don't know what time you're going to get out. I mean, there were times where I was eating dinner at 8 o'clock at night and then passing out to wake up again and go the next day. So obviously you want to eat pretty light, but you're also trying to recover, for your muscles. So I ate high protein for the most part. I did do some carbs, but again, I'm not a nutritionist. So the first couple days I had a sandwich for lunch, both days, and then as the week went on, there's a place in Champaign. It's called Harvest Market, I think, or something like that. And it's like 5 minutes from the drill ground. And I would go to the salad bar and I would literally just do chickpeas. Like, I would do all the all the salad meats. So I would do chickpeas, ham, chicken, bacon, like turkey, and then like some friggin' carrots or something, and cheese. And then I did like a honey mustard dressing, and that's what I ate almost every day. Was just that. Like, I think I did lettuce one of the days, and I was like, screw it. And just woofing that down in an hour, and then you're right back to the drill ground. So, I will say, for someone that doesn't understand sports nutrition very much, I felt like my eating was actually pretty good, and that didn't really fail me at all. But like I said before, the hydration, I really was like, ugh. I had to fix that. So if you could learn from my mistake, definitely do it. Another cough. That's leftovers, by the way. I also think I was probably had a cold, but you definitely have to make some decisions. I chugged some smoke, not to sound like I'm McCaffrey brother over here, but you're gonna breathe some smoke. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're gonna breathe some smoke over the course of the week. I mean, it is what it is. Managing your air was pretty crazy. So my department, we run 5,500 PSI bottles, and right now IFSI can only fill they can fill higher, but when everyone else is running 4,500s, they don't change the regulators, which makes sense. I get it, because you literally go over, you throw it in the thing, and you fill it, you hot fill it, and then you're right back, moving on to the next thing. So they weren't gonna adjust the regulator for me. So it was just something to be aware of. If your department runs a 5,500 bottle, you're not going to get 55 for the whole week. I think I got lucky a handful of times that I maybe got to 50 because they were, or 5,000. But honestly, I wouldn't change it. I think it made me more cognizant of my air, and I've been practicing a lot of breathing stuff. I know how long I was doing some air pack like workouts leading up to this, and to the point of exhaustion while you're on air. And I would then when I would go on bells or whatever, I would see how long I could hang out and recover, right? Because now bottles go in thirds instead of having the last quarter. You got the last third now, and you got your alarm going off. That's a lot of air, and I was able to stretch that out, and I was actually able to recover, hang out, force through a cinder block wall, all below 500 pounds of air after just crawling through a whole bunch of stuff. So if it's definitely something to practice. If you want to go, you need to figure out from the time you're on bells how long you can make a bottle last, because there is no quick escape. Where the way you come in is the way you're coming out, and some people may say that's unrealistic, and there's other ways out. That's the point in these drills is they want you to go through the obstacles, because that's the point. They're challenging, so you have to take that and understand it. But if you haven't trained on working to exhaustion on an air pack and trying to manage your air post bells and seeing how long that lasts, and if you don't have a mental stopwatch for how long you have, you need to do that before you go to this. And there was one evolution I had to actually transfill off of the second RIT pack that we had, because there was no way I was going to get out with the amount of air that I had, and luckily, the down firefighter we had was on one RIT pack, and they were fine, and they had plenty of air, so I was able to take our second one and just transfill into mine, and make things happen, and it was enough, right? But definitely the air management portion, if you come in good at that stuff, it's going to be a benefit to you. Your truck skills, like I said, you're going to force doors. You're going to force 4x4s. So if you've never done that before, they'll teach you. So it's not like you have to come with that knowledge, but it's, obviously it's challenging, and it's going to exhaust you. It's going to beat you up, and then you still have to go save a down firefighter. So that's all really cool. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the things that I can think of off the top of my head. You guys know when I do these episodes for guests, I usually have like a punch list of topics, and I thought I'd be able to wing it without needing that. And I guess I'm covering most of the things that I wanted to talk about, but it's pretty incredible. You definitely go through a lot and learn a lot about yourself, and the camaraderie that you end up with the crew is good if you allow it to. That's one thing. Don't be a shut off. Don't think you're better than anyone else. Everyone there wants to be there, right? Yeah, maybe there's a couple stragglers, but for the most part, everyone that's there wants to be there, and they're as hungry as you are. So get on the same page and roll with it. You have to do the shit together, right? Oh, hey, there you go. Look at that. Doug's in the chat. I have Doug Price, and he was in my group, and let me tell you, man. Well, first off, he had a Draeger, which he was embarrassed about all week, and it was hilarious. He would have to go and hide somewhere to turn his shit on, and just awesome guy, down to earth guy, and worked his fucking ass off as a part of the crew. I couldn't have asked for a better group. And Doug, you were rocking it, man. There were definitely times where I was gassed and you picked up the pieces, and just awesome. And so it was great. Yeah, he said it was a blast, tough but great when you get when you keep your head calm And it's a big game, man, of reminding yourself, like, you have to fix the problem. You have to keep yourself, like, calm. And you learn how to do that. So, and you did, man. You did a great job, Doug. So, really, it was a pleasure to meet you and work with you. It was really cool. More things about the program. So, the program itself, if I said that there's scenarios, right? For the most part, from what I understand from what they told us, and I believe it, is all the scenarios are based on a real incident that happened, a real, like, NIOSH report. Like, they can tie them back to an actual Mayday. And you're more or less, like, trying to correct history and get them out, which is pretty cool. So I'm sure that people come to that class and are like, this is unrealistic and all that kind of crap. But it's not. And it's like, they back it up. So yeah, the one thing I will tell you that they teach you. So like I said, I'm not gonna give away the scenarios because I don't think that's fair. But if you can remember, or really just take this, even if you don't take the class, when you're thinking about RIT, they beat it into your head, and it takes a little time for some of us because, we're firemen, but air straps movement, right? Like, for you ambulance jockeys, it's like the ABCs of RIT, right? Like, you can't move them without tightening the straps and making sure their air is good. You can't tighten straps until you make sure that they're on air. Like, and if you remember those things and you can have a moment of clarity when there's panic, like, you can fix the problem with those three things. And then every obstacle you get, it's almost like a recheck, right? So, like, okay, we just put this guy through a hole. All right, air straps movement, reset, check him again. Like, if you can get that into your head and keep thinking that through, and then as a crew, like, come on the same page as that, you'll go a long way. And it's the same thing if you practice RIT at home without going to this class. So, air, obviously, you want to make sure that they're on air. Well, I shouldn't say obviously, but you want to make sure that there's air some way. Either it's their mask, your tube, a Comiskey tube, like a RIT mask, whatever, buddy breathing, transfilling, their own air pack, and you just put it all back on them. You want to make sure that they have air on their face, because obviously if they don't have air, they're dead, right? Like, we're all dead. If we go inside there without air, you're dead. That's the whole point in wearing the SCBA. But it's a constant recycle, and there were definitely times where, like, my crew or other crews, we kind of get caught where we didn't quite get air set, and you'd have to reset, and you learn over the course of the week. You make the mistakes, and then you fix it for the next evolutions. So it's pretty cool. Keep that in your head, though, the air, and then straps. So I know I was taught it, and a lot of other places teach it, and I think the fire service is getting away from it. But the pack conversion, where you would unclip the waist strap and you put it through their crotch, they say don't do that. They advise against that, simply because when you're in zero visibility, to undo something and redo it, is the odds of you being successful are pretty low. And they're right. Like, there's enough complicated other stuff going on in those drills that you can't see, to add that to the equation, when that waist strap, truthfully, the waist strap is so important, like, to mess with it and do a conversion. So get that out of your head. But what they do is, basically, they teach you to just tighten all the straps down, and then you're grabbing basically up here by their traps to do most of the dragging. And if you sit them up, there's actually a little bit of space, which I really struggled with, to be honest with you. Like, me trying to, once you tighten the strap down, for me to find the spot to grab with gloves on and zero visibility, I really struggled with up front. And they teach a trick where if you follow the bottle, and if you sit the firefighter up, there's a space right here where the pack and the straps are off, even if it's really tight, and you can sneak your hand in there. So that was actually cool to see. And the reason you tighten them down is so your effort that you're putting into is close to you, so you're keeping them close to your body, right? So with lifting and doing anything heavy, you want it close to your body, right? So you're getting the maximum output. So tightening the straps does that. The other thing too, if you don't do it already, and you're a firefighter, wear your waist strap, because without that, like, a lot of these things are impossible. A Nance drill where you got to pull somebody up through the floor, the drags that you do, they're not possible without that waist strap. You would just you'd pull it right off of them. So if you're a firefighter and you fall through the floor, like, without the waist strap, there's ways, I'm sure, but why wouldn't you stack the deck and make things easier for you? So, and they get on you about that, like, and they say you owe us a case of soda, and if they catch you not wearing your waist strap. So I don't know why we even have to have the conversation nowadays, like the benefits of wearing a waist strap on an SCBA. Literally the only reason you want it is because you're lazy. Literally, that's it. Like, it puts the weight on your hips, it keeps you in the pack, makes it so people can drag you easier. Like, there's literally no reason other than you being lazy to not wear a waist strap. So, put that into your I don't know, routine. It should be already, but and then the movement. So movement's got to be coordinated, obviously, and you will find out that you can do a lot of work by yourself. And I think a lot of us get out of that, right? And especially coming from the EMS world, where it's do I have all the players? Do I have all the help I can get? Right? Like, that's part of, like, your when we teach, like, what the EMS assessment, it's, do I have all my resources, right? Like, that's part of the BSI scene safety mantra. And I think sometimes if we're cross-trained, I think that programs us to feel like we need 800 people for everything. When if you can't drag a firefighter 10 feet by yourself, and I get there's some big people out there, but if you can't do that alone, you should probably really look at yourself and improve your fitness. Like, it could literally be life or death. So there were times, you get caught where you find the person, you go, all right, we're going to do this together, because we're trying to lighten the load, but where's the other guy? And you end up getting all confused because you can't see and you can't yell, you can't talk. Like, the communication's so hard in there that you basically, it's like, let's make some progress and then we can figure it out. I'll drag him to you guys and then we can figure it out. So the movements are very simple and easy to remember, and that's the point. So the up and down stairs, they teach you a technique. The drags, they teach you the techniques, both in wide situations and narrow. Minimal webbing use, no DRD use, and quite frankly, I don't. After experiencing what I experienced, they got an air pack on. The DRD ain't coming out for me. Like, it's so easy to drag them when they're close to you and tightening straps and doing all the movements that they teach you. Like, it works. You're not setting up, rope rescue stuff inside there. We did use webbing one time, and they teach you, like, some webbing stuff for a firefighter maybe that doesn't have their air pack on, so you have a point to drag. But if they have one on, we used it one time, and I'll give you one spoiler. We had to drag a firefighter through a sonotube, an unconscious firefighter, and that was the one time that we pulled out webbing. But we had a short, like a 6-foot loop maybe, if that, and just girth hitched it to both the two top air pack straps and dragged him through the sonotube. So, could we have done it other ways? Probably. But, that was the easier way to do it. And it made sense, and it wasn't cumbersome because it wasn't this big 20-foot loop of webbing. Oh, shoot. Sorry, my son woke up. I gotta text my wife real quick. We're trying to get him. Side note: we're trying to stop my son from needing a bottle to go to sleep. So he's doing pretty good, but it's hard. So yeah, I know like a lot of places teach a lot of techniques with webbing and all this other stuff, and carabiners and clipping them to yourself, and all those are great, like in theory. But you'll find that doing those things and kind of like mounting them to you might get them up the stairs, but you still got to drag them down a hallway. So as much as you think you're saving time, you're not, right? Like if you do the techniques that they teach you in the class, you'll get them up the stairs. Because let's just be honest, getting a firefighter up the stairs is probably the hardest thing out of all the RIT stuff. Upstairs is the hardest thing, a basement type thing where you got to get them out. And I know I've definitely seen where people clip into the pack so they can stand up, and or they take a Halligan bar and they put it underneath both the straps to pick them up so they got handles. Like, yeah, those are great for just the stairs. But then once you're off the stairs, there's still more work to be done. So that's one of the things that they kind of talk about, and they enlighten you a little bit. They say a lot of people come to this class and they have these techniques that they were taught somewhere else. All of the techniques that they teach you were vetted through this class. And I don't know who can sit there and say that their technique was tested under live fire with live victims. They can. So if take some of those RIT things with a grain of salt, because really at the end of the day, when it's a live person and there's actual fire, you got to go to just straight up go mode. And doing the techniques that they teach you puts you in that mode where you don't have to do some fancy stuff, and you get the job done quick, right? It's rapid intervention team. It's the point. So, keep that in mind. And it was great to learn those things for sure. Another big thing, and I really think that this applies to everything fire service, not just RIT. But they sit and they tell you, and when everyone's Monday is feeling all right, like, because you're amped up, because you're like, I'm going to come and show that I can do this stuff. I'm going to prove to myself that I'm fit. I'm going to prove to myself that I've got the mental toughness to take this class, that I'm a good fireman, right? Like, you show up and that's what you're thinking. And, you got a little bit of ego, or everybody does coming in this class. And they say it, they go, all right, so we're showing you this stuff. Stick to the techniques, because what we don't want to hear you say is, fuck it, just drag him. And they go, I guarantee someone will do this over the week. Someone will do that. And nothing good has ever happened after someone goes, fuck it, just go. And it proved. It happened to us, not in those exact words, but we had moments like that as a company where there were times where we were gonna just go, like, let's go. We've been here. The instructors are yelling at you. That's their job. Why aren't you moving? Like, they're gonna do that. Like, you need to tune that out, and you need to focus on your job and what you're supposed to do. And there were times where we were gonna just roll and not have our wits about us, and we caught ourselves, and it was great. That's the point in having a crew, right? We caught ourselves. Someone's the voice of reason and says, no, I need to do this. Okay. And then everyone shuts up and you do it. But I think that's a great lesson in just fire service in general. And you'll hear people say that. I've heard people say that on, wires down calls. Not literally, but you get what I'm saying. Like people just go, screw it. We're just going to do it. Nothing good's ever come from that. You end up making more work for yourself. So really take that lesson from there too, and to share that with you. Well, that's pretty much, the most. I'm going to pull up the notes because what I did every day, I came back and I dumped notes into my phone. They tell you to bring a notepad and take notes. And Doug, if he's still in here, that was in my crew. He did that every day. He was writing notes in between all the evolutions. I can't personally. I don't do that just because I don't know. I need to have like the mental dump afterwards. That's just how my brain works. But if your brain works like his did, like bring a notepad, write stuff down in between evolutions that you learn. But if anyone has questions here in this chat, please ask away, and I'll see what I can share. One of the things that was big was door control, and if you and honestly, this is fire service in general too. If you're on a search crew, if you're without a hose line and you encounter fire and there's a door that you can close the door. Right? Make sure there's nobody in there, but close the door. You're going to make things better. Red under fire is hot, but it doesn't have to be really hot, if that makes sense, right? You're going to get baked, and no matter what, but you can make it better for yourself. And there's times where you're going down a hallway, and two of the rooms have fire just blowing out of them, but they have a door, and you can just shut the door, and then that whole hallway is fine then. So don't be afraid to shut a door. Instructor's not going to tell you to not do it. You should get in that habit anyway as a firefighter. You don't necessarily have to do an A to B drag when you're pulling somebody out. You can create refuge, and that can come from shutting the door. That can come from making it through an obstacle and getting them into a safer spot for you to reassess. And that could be part of air management stuff, right? So are you going to want to throw somebody out the window while the RIT pack's still attached to them? Probably not. Obviously there's a situation for everything, but that might do more harm than good. So if you can create a room of refuge essentially and isolate yourself, you may be able to take that off of them, that kind of stuff. So those were great, and they let you do it, right? One other thing too, and I'm going through my notes, is have somebody that we called it the bird dog. Have somebody that knows how to get out. So all four of you do not need to be working on that down firefighter. Like I said, someone can just drag stuff, but someone can just drag them by themselves. Two people drag them. There's four people in the RIT crew. So one of you can peel off and guide the way, and you would see over the course of the week, guys would be standing in with their flashlights, this is the way out, this is the way out. And if I was, you guys heard, I never had a full bottle the whole week because I couldn't fill it, right? So there were times where I would get in and I would do the truck work, and then I would back off and I would find a way out, and I would sit there, because what are we all going to do? We're all going to go, hey, I'm over here. Well, you can't see 2 feet in front of your face. So over here means nothing to you, but a glow of a flashlight or, hey, I just went down the hall. You're going to make it all the way left of the stairs to go down. Like, if you can come back and have that information, the drag is that much better because you don't want to drag someone and have no idea where you're going because then you're just wasting effort. So splitting your crew up to do those things, even if you are not doing the physical work, you are contributing to the crew. And that's one thing you got to break out of your head when you're taking this class is, like, get out of your own head. Like, you do not have to be doing everything physical all the time. Like, there are plenty of ways that you can contribute to that crew. Sometimes less is more. Like I said, it only takes, you can package a firefighter with one guy. And there were times where we looked around, we had 6 people in the room all yelling, trying to work around each other. And like, it's not like we're idiots for doing that. Like, you don't know until you experience it. And after that, we really started to spread out. We kind of created a chain, and we had informal jobs, but we all just plugged into what we needed to do. It was really cool. And having that bird dog, if you will, that person that's scouting ahead, is huge. And then the officer needs to be a traffic cop. It's the same way. Who are you? No, you can't go in there. Sit over there and wait. Conserve your air. So having those people around is huge as a part of the crew. Robert Ramirez, I'm just going to say it's really cool that you're in this chat in general because I know, like, obviously I've listened to you talk about RIT, and I know I had Chief Styles on, who you are obviously close with as well. And it's cool to see you in here because you would eat this class up. And if there's any way for you to connect with these guys from Champaign, man, you need to because they do a really good program. It's outstanding. So he said here, I gotta expand all this stuff. There's nothing fancy about firefighter rescue if a skill doesn't work while fully encapsulated below 3 feet. A stress hormone-driven heart rate above 150 and zero visibility, then that skill or drag is absolutely useless. And yeah, and again, like, this class proves it. Fancy tricks mean nothing in this class. Nothing. It all comes down to what can you do when you're borderline lizard brain and still keep your wits, though, like I said. Like, what can you do to make it better with literally just an air pack in your muscles? And it's really cool. And yeah, you definitely, Rob, you I don't know, you, whether we talk offline, I don't have all the connections down there, but like I got a couple now from sharing that experience because they're very, very cool about like being there for you to educate you further. I think some of your Mayday stuff would call into play in terms of like not using like lip or lunar and using plain English. Like, I think that would be good to connect to that class for sure because they don't teach lunar. They actually say lunar's, junk like most of us do now. They still teach lip, which there's nothing wrong with lip, and they actually had a pretty good rationale for using lip instead of just say what you need to say. Was basically if all you get out is your location, at least they know where you are, which was good, and I actually understood that. My department's kind of been leaning towards the plain English Mayday, where you just say what's going on with you, but that actually made a lot of sense. So it was pretty cool, and that they explained it in that regard. So I was on board with that all day. Through the rest of my notes, so there were just methods for doing what we did. And again, I am not going to spoil you because you need to go experience the class. Like, it's if you know what you're getting into, I think it cheats you. I think you need to get beat up, you need to be mentally challenged, and you need to just not know what's coming next. So definitely don't ask too many questions. Just go. If you wanted to check it out, I'm going to shameless plug because it was cool to be a part of this. Obviously, if you're on Spotify, you can't, when I post this up later, you're not going to be able to see it. But I'll probably try to make sure I share it on my page. I'm not a flashy guy, so I usually don't, hey, look at me. But I put in the chat, there's a video that they put together with my class and myself. I was actually in the video explaining their new RIT Chief program. So if you wanted to kind of get a little glimpse of what it's like, and from an outside perspective, obviously, there's a cool video in there where they're explaining the new RIT Chief program, and I just put that up in the chat. So definitely take a look. And yeah, Rob, yeah, we'll talk soon for sure. Like I said, it's pretty cool that you're in here because I know obviously this is near and dear to your heart. So it's definitely unreal. Ask any guy that takes the class; they'll probably tell you exact same things that I'm telling. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna show my swag because I feel proud, obviously, but I got my my Survivor T-shirt, right? Right, and then the only way you get this is by finishing the whole thing. And I don't know if I'll get this thing to focus or not, because I don't know how that crap works. But Coin says, to hell and back for our brothers, Survivor. And every bit of that word means something, because you're surviving that week. It's crazy. So, yeah. That's my offload. If you got questions about RIT Under Fire, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Again, I won't tell you all their secrets, but I'll give you advice on what else you can do. But I pretty much told you everything that I would tell you anyway, but still, really the ultimate advice is take the class. If you're in Illinois, it's free. Yeah, you got to get a hotel, but the tuition's free. If you're not in Illinois, I think it's like $3,000, $3,500 for the tuition. But Illinois, it's grant funded. It's a free class for you. Really, the only reason that would maybe deter you is lodging. But I can tell you, I got a state rate hotel. My department paid for it. I'm very fortunate for that, and I appreciate that. And it was under $500 for the whole week, so it wasn't too expensive. So that's all it cost my department to send me was $500. That's pretty awesome. Coming up, so I'm on their website. I'm going to put the link also in our chat here for the class itself. And I'll see if I can find the RIT Chief one, if they have that on yet. But they've got right now, so no availability for their February class. May, however, May's got 9 seats available in 2024. So that's May 20th through the 24th. And then their November class next year is also full right now. So it's a pretty highly sought after class. IFSI releases their classes in October the prior year. So if this is something you want to do and you can't get into that May one and you want to go in 25, pay attention because it fills up quick. And if you want to go in 25, October, you should be paying attention to what's going on IFSI's website because it opens up and you want to try to get in there. So it's it's unreal, man. I'm going to see real quick if I can find the Chief one. There, okay, I got that too. So for the RIT Chiefs, and you do not have to have taken RIT Under Fire to take it. However, it probably is a good idea, but also I understand if if you're into the job and you're a battalion chief or a chief and you want to take this class, from a from a chief's perspective, take the RIT chief one. Don't let that deter you, because it's very valuable for sure. And you are never going to you get 18 maydays. Think about that as a chief officer or a shift commander, or sorry, incident commander. Where are you going to get 18 real live fire, real victim maydays? Nowhere. So, and I'm not paid by IFSI by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, maybe someday I will. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll get an opportunity to be part of that group. But like, where are you going to get to as a battalion chief to even just do one live fire RIT scenario, like with the volume of people that you have? You're not. So it's pretty awesome that they added this. So Monday, February 19th to the 23rd, 6 seats. May 20th through 24th, 2 seats. And November 4th through the 8th of next year, 6 seats. So that's for the RIT Chief program, which I will throw that in our chat as well, if you were interested in that. So, take the damn class. I don't know how else to end this other than saying take the damn class. And, yeah. As for more outlier stuff, I don't have anyone lined up as of yet for the remainder of this month. I am going to try to get somebody, but obviously with the holidays, with Thanksgiving coming up, we'll see. And then I'm going to go out of town, actually, the first week of December, so you will not hear from me in any capacity. I'm going on a family vacation, so, but we'll be back. If you have suggestions for people, send them my way. This is more talking than I think I've ever done on one of our shows, because what's the point is I have guests, so I always appreciate the support that I get from this show, and I appreciate anyone listening to this that wants to better themselves. And I'm just a guy, right? Probably the same as you, that wants to be really good at their job, and I wanted to be challenged, and I wanted to see where I was at, and I learned all those things. I found a new gear. I found some validation, and accomplished something huge. And I hope that if you're thinking of taking this class, you will feel that way if you get through it, and you will have highs and lows. But if you get through it, man, when you stand up on that mountain, you get to look at what you did. It's amazing. So take the class. That's all I'm going to say. Have a good evening, and we'll see you on the next one.